What's up, weirdos? Any of you white ones ever want to make your hair into dreadlocks and then cosplay as an indigenous shaman? Because that's what Shanin Blake does. That's what we're talking about.
I've been learning shit from the aliens.
I think we could spend literally 30 minutes just breaking down all of the things that she's appropriating in just this one frame. Like, we've got, obviously, the dreadlocks, first and foremost, which don't do that if you're white. I'm sorry, don't. Even if you can gaslight yourself into thinking that it's not appropriating black culture.
Oh, here we go. Another person suffering from white savior complex telling another person what they're not allowed to do, where he could have simply Googled it and realized, no, black people do not own dreadlocks. White people, European, Middle Eastern people, and even Asian people have been wearing dreadlocks since the world has begun. Jeez fucking Louise, I hate to be that person, but educate yourself.
So this girl, I don't know her. I just heard of this girl. I don't know her. I'm not a fan of her. I don't know her from Adam at all whatsoever. However, for some weird reason, a lot of major, huge YouTubers, commentary channels have been dragging her from Kingdom Come, like beating a dead fucking horse, making her seem like she is the worst person on the fucking planet. And I kept watching these long ass videos just bashing her character, bashing her aesthetics, bashing her music, bashing who she is as a person. And I'm confused. Can someone fill me in? Because I don't know why. I went through all these videos trying to desperately figure out what this girl did so wrong. Why was she such a bad person? Why was she deserving video after 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 video of people basically saying she's the daughter of Satan? And honestly, from what I can gather from all the videos that I've seen is they just think she's weird. Look, the biggest criticism of this child, of this woman, of this girl who's minding her business, just doing her, not hurting anyone, is she's, once again, cultural appropriation. I know. I did a throwback video about how cultural appropriation was all the trend, like 4 years ago or whatever. I guess no. The idiot left still like to spew cultural appropriation about cultures they know nothing about.
I think we could spend literally 30 minutes just breaking down all of the things that she's appropriating in just this one frame. She is the end game of colonial exploitation.
Once again, we're back to this ceremonial type garb, and it just feels like there are adornments that people were supposed to wear when they were of a really, really high status.
Clack what Bosie just said. It feels like, it seems like, it's a ceremonial type guard. She doesn't know. She's not educated about where this comes from, where this is inspired by. She knows nothing about the culture. But with her huge following, she believes it's her right and her job to tell Shanin she's not allowed to wear it.
I think Shanin just doesn't care what she's doing is racist or if she's appropriating culture or whatever. I think Shanin is in it for the money and she'll do whatever it takes to get a dime. If you look at Shanin's earlier work, she doesn't dress like this, and surely her music doesn't sound like this either.
Because I don't know if you didn't know this, guys, you're not allowed to change as a human being. You're not allowed to evolve or grow as a person, and definitely as an artist. All the artists we've seen in the 90s, they still sing the same exact songs. Beyonce is the same Beyonce when she was in Destiny Child. Christina Aguilera is still singing I'm a Gypsy in a Bottle. No one is allowed to change and evolve, guys. I don't know if you got the memo.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
You have a bunch of like white people and Westerners and Americans crying about cultural appropriation of Aborigine cultures. So just things, histories and lands, they really themselves are uneducated. They never went to these people's homes and asked them if it was okay or anything. They just feel like it's their job to tell other white people what culture they're allowed to appreciate or take on or adopt as their own.
Hey, editing Shamika here. Still in Indonesia. I just thought I would make this really clear because I kind of at the beginning of the video said that, oh, it's not a cultural appropriation because, you know, the Vikings did it and the Greeks did it and what have you. Even if that wasn't the case, you are not allowed to tell another person what they're fucking allowed to do with their bodies and their fucking hair. Get over yourself, you egotistical, maniacal assholes.
I've traveled a lot. If you've followed me, you know this. I have been traveling and living abroad for almost 9 years. And one of my favorite ways to live is I like to live within or close to local life, local neighborhoods. I like to get to know the locals. And no, that's not always, near tiki tribes and mud huts like you guys probably think, because you guys are weird. And everybody thinks that was what developing countries actually consist of, because a lot of locals live regular modern day lives just like everybody else. Of course, their culture is a bit different, their food is different, their language different, but you will be surprised what we actually have in common. Anywho, throughout my entire almost 9 years of traveling, every time I or any of my fellow travelers, expats, nomads, or fellow hippies either adopt a culture, take on a culture as their own, want to learn about a culture, the locals are usually really happy about it. They're thrilled and excited to see someone wearing their traditional clothing, or trying to speak their language, or, taking on their traditional belief systems or cultures or spiritual belief systems. They're usually eager to teach and share and exchange. They usually will go and grab their own cultural artifacts or their own cultural clothing and wrap you around in it. They're actually extremely welcoming to people learning about their cultures and adopting their cultures as their own. They're not these hateful mobs with pitchforks on the internet like you see on TikTok, of people screaming at someone's face about how that's not their culture and they're not allowed to. It's just like the girl who wore the traditional Oriental or Chinese dress to prom, and everybody starts screaming cultural appropriation, but then all the people from China or Chinese people were like, we're cool. You don't got a cape for us. We didn't ask you to turn us into victims. And that's the other thing, when we talk about consent, the progressive left loves to talk about consent and all. No one consented to you victimizing them. No one consented to you bringing them into your oppression Olympics. It got hella dark out of nowhere. The sun is really weird today. So please stop with the cultural appropriation bullshit. It's just you virtue signaling and pandering to your community or whatever. This girl took a culture that she admired and she liked the aesthetics of, and she spent it and edited it and made it her own. This is what people have been doing forever. You can't keep on asking for diversity. You want to globalize society, but you also want it to be completely and utterly separate. The other thing is that she's a woo-woo crystal spiritual girl, and I know by me even making this video, a lot of my audience are also going to be like, I don't like her, she's weird, I don't care. She's still not hurting anyone. I personally am a hippie myself. I know I don't look like the aesthetics all the way of hippie. I have my little crystal here. And I usually travel and live amongst a lot of hippies or spiritual people, and a lot of hippies and spiritual people usually live amongst the locals, because a lot of those type of people kind of are trying to go back to nature and simple life and stuff like that. And so I see a lot of these type of people. Now, her type of hippie aesthetic is what we would call like bougie, posh, like LA hippie aesthetic. My main focus, honestly, on this video, and I talked about it before, is this thing that I'm noticing is that people really like to demoralize other people. It's like we live in a demoralizing culture.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures or psychological warfare. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral...
It's cool to pick out an individual you think is kind of weird and demoralize the fuck out of them, even though they're not doing anything wrong. They're not hurting anyone. They're just living their lives. It reminds me of this other video that I was going to actually react to, but I didn't get to it. It was this short that I saw on Instagram of this elderly woman. I think she was maybe 70, 80, I don't know. And she was being asked life advice because she's an elder woman, and the advice she gave was actually pretty good. I went in the comment section to probably be like, leave my own comment like, yeah, great advice, loves it, I love that she's still living her life, whatever. It was full of negativity. Like, how dare she be happy at her age, and how dare she show her fucking shoulders, because that was the majority of the comments. People were upset because she was showing her shoulders. They were saying she was showing too much skin, but if you look at the video, the only thing you can see is her shoulders and the top of where her cleavage used to be. But that's it. It was like, They would rather her just die and disappear than display herself on film, on a camera, and be happy and full of life.
How old are you?
Old, 79.
That's something you thought was really important when you were younger, but as you got older, you realized it wasn't that important.
Probably money, even though it matters, makes it easier, but it doesn't guarantee joy. Good health is important, and luckily I am blessed.
Have you ever lost someone you really love?
Yeah, my husband. We were together 43 years, married 38. We had a great life, but it ended.
How did that impact you?
I was sad, but life goes on, and you have to make the best of it.
A lot of people aren't able to move on, though. How were you able to move on from that?
I guess just inner strength, not wanting to be a victim. It's not what happens to you, it's how you handle what happens to you.
And I know you've also seen these conspicuous, like anonymous, random videos of hippies dancing at a festival. Just happy people dancing to music, just living their lives, not bothering anyone. And the comments is full of people like, oh my god, these freaking are moochers, they're lazy bums, I can just smell them, they're probably stinky, oh my god, this is the worst of society, where like all they're simply doing is dancing to music. And even for myself, I have posted videos of some really wholesome, nice, beautiful moments with me and my hippie friends on my travel channel, and I posted shorts on this channel as well. And you get comments like, oh my god, grow up, get a job, oh my god, you guys are the worst of society, oh, you're probably like a bunch of rich kids. And it's like we're literally just sitting there minding our business, being happy, and this has triggered you to the nth degree. That's really sad. I think people have a weird misconception about hippies for some reason, and it comes from the left and the right. And the thing is that what confused me the most about all of these YouTubers and content creators that were dragging this girl is that they weren't conservative talking heads. I would expect this from Candace Owens or Tim Pool or Brett Cooper or Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles or Tucker, but these were from seemingly liberal progressive YouTubers who didn't like her from the most part is because they just didn't get her vibe. So I kind of understand when conservatives have a misconception of hippies. I don't get it from the left. I don't understand it. Like, you're supposed to be open-minded. We all know that's bullshit, but you're supposed to be open-minded. Anyway, for my conservative viewers, I think their misconception is that hippies are anonymous or synonymous with progressive, and they're not. A lot of things that conservatives believe in, hippies believe in too, especially the hippies communities I live in. When I lived in Arambogoa in India, very big hippie community, the reason why I loved it so much because it was not just one ideology. There were Trump supporters who lived there. There were liberals. There were good old Texan boys. Everyone lived together and no one cared about your fucking beliefs. And we can have rational adult conversations about our beliefs without ripping each other's heads off. The hippie communities are actually quite open, welcoming to everyone. And that's why I love them. And most of them were anti-pharma, anti-mandates, anti-vax, very, very pro-freedom. A lot of them have jobs. A lot of them are business owners. A lot of them are married. A lot of them have kids. A lot of them have traditional like structures, and some of them don't. But this idea that hippies are synonymous with progressives or hippies are lazy and they're not doing anything is literally so outdated. Like, grow the fuck up. Come to 2024. Back to this girl anyway. I kind of digressed a little bit. My take on the hate towards her really did boil down to people think she's weird, and people also tend to don't like pretty white girls, and that's basically what she is. She's a pretty white girl. I think she's white. Maybe she's not. She looks white. Maybe she identifies as white. I'm not sure. She's a pretty white girl who's brought on an aesthetic that is not white at all, and she's made it her own, and she's smiling and happy. Some people have, you know, bashed her for talking about how she does mushrooms or whatever, but there's literally hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube about people doing ayahuasca, people doing mushrooms, people doing acid, and no one's bashing them. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these YouTubers have talked about their own dibbling and dabbling with weed and drugs and stuff like that. She wasn't telling people, you must do these things. She's just displaying her life, and she's allowed to do that. And I'm sorry, again, anybody who drinks a drop of alcohol tries to criticize somebody of taking a plant out of a ground and digesting it for their own personal enlightenment or escapism, you're a fucking hypocrite and you need to shut up and sit down. I think again, it is boiled down to people think she's weird, and it's easy and politically correct to bash on a pretty white girl who's, again, maybe taking on a culture that's not white at all, but it's not your fucking culture to protect. It's not your culture to fucking cape for. And if you're a 4th generation uni kid, that still doesn't mean it's your place to say someone can't take in your culture. Because again, if you go to those countries where those cultures are, most likely they will be happy and welcoming for anybody to want to appreciate their culture, adopt their culture, and take it on as their own. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've experienced it firsthand. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. It's way too long, about a girl I don't even know at all, just heard about. I just am over the demoralization that people are profiting off of, and this trend that people literally get excited and happy to like bash on another human being when they're literally just doing nothing and minding their business and not hurting anyone. But these freaking YouTubers have made hundreds of thousands of dollars dragging her to filth for absolutely no reason. Anyway, if I missed something though, if she's murdered a cat, let me know in the comment section. Please like, comment, and subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. If you'd like to support the channel, please, for the love of God, donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the comment section below. You can super chat, and you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Bye!
You know, self-love, yeah, it's like a superpower. Let me tell you. Yeah.